Potent Ponder, and I'm back with another video. Yo, please come and thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, hit all notifications, so you know each and every time I do uploads or I go live. I do go live sometimes randomly while I'm walking and talking, you know what I'm saying? But listen, I hope y'all all doing well. It's Sunday. I first want to say rest in peace. My condolences go out to Angie Stone, her family. Angie was involved in a motor vehicle accident where she was in a Sprinter with her team, with her crew, her team, and I believe they said it was some of her family that was in the Sprinter as well. Well, I know that there's been a lot of conspiracy theories going around, you know, in regards to Angie speaking on the industry, UMG, Universal Music Group, about her royalties, mechanics, and things like that. And some people feel as though, you know, a lot of people get into that conspiracy theorism and all of that. But what I believe that happened, I'm going to play some of the clip of the video, you know, from the scene or whatever. I want to just tell you this, to anybody who's a driver and you've been on the freeway, right? I know personally, two things I don't play with. I don't play with people who drive tractor trailers because it takes a lot of force for them to stop the tractor trailer. I do speed up and get ahead of them, but I don't cut in front of them because it takes a lot to stop that type of truck carrying the cargo, the weight, whatever, right? And then I don't play with motorcyclists because I just feel like they're vulnerable. They're out in the open. I don't play chasing games with them, swerving in and out. So what I wanted to say is that so many people would be so quick to say something about a conspiracy theory that they don't realize what actually can happen. Now, what I want to say is this, right? It is true. Angie said that she felt like the spirit of the devil or, you know, certain energies were out on her, but we can't take that and blame it on everything. What I want to say is that how many times do you see people trying to race up and get in front of vehicles, and then you're trying to race up and get in front of a tractor trailer, and that's what it seems like happened based on where the tractor trailer was placed and based on where the Sprinter flipped 3 times. That's what happened, and it's so unfortunate. Life is so delicate. Our moments, each and every moment is delicate. That could have been you. That could have been me on there. Also, as a person who's been involved in a motor vehicle accident when the car has flipped over and it was 4 people in the car, right? Nobody died, but my brother got injured badly in this accident when I was 4 or 5 years old. He got like $100,000 from insurance up until the age he turned 30 from this accident. So it is possible for multiple people to be, you don't know where she was positioned in the seat, near the window. Maybe she was near the window and her head hit. Maybe she didn't have her seatbelt on and she flew. We just don't know the logistics. So I just implore people. I know that it's really fun to get on the internet and to make it seem like you're a conspiracy theorist. And then it's almost disrespectful to the family too for you even push that. But anyway, and also to Al B. Shore, that is so disrespectful for you to expose text messages, whether it's true or not. I don't even know what Angie was having a transplant for, but for you to do that to get some sort of vindication, to make it seem as though that you were right what you were saying about Puffy or to, you know, about Diddy or in regards to being a good dad, that was just completely wrong. But anyway, I want to play some of the videos before we get into Angie Stone's live, her last live, where she was talking about the industry and an array of things. Let's get into that. I just want to show you the scene as, you know, after the accident, and I want you to be a person who can judge based on where this truck was positioned, skirted off the road on the other side, and where their Sprinter was. It's unfortunate. Blame the driver. But it's like when people get so off in the mind and they're starting to think like, so you think Universal planted this tractor trailer and they said when they speed up and get over or hit it, or you think that the driver was in on it too, or do you think it was a poor driver, a person, or, you know, typical in male nature, we want to speed up and get ahead. You don't listen, but I know that driver feels bad. But what I want to say is, again, and I can't stress it enough, just because it was one fatality, that could have been anybody else. So are you saying that if somebody else died along in the crew or in the family, that it wouldn't have been suspicious? You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't let people get in your mind online. Let's check these videos out. So you see, this is a video right here of the scene. I'm actually going to play this one twice just so you could kind of see. This is somebody just driving by on the scene. You see, you know, how it looks over there. You also see the Sprinter. They're driving by, you know, the Sprinter. So unfortunate. Like, man. That's crazy. I did this one again. You see the Sprinter flipped over. That's crazy. Let's get into the next one.
We got police activity. There's a vehicle in the middle of the road. I can't tell from this distance what that is, but there's some kind of situation. It's holding a little back up here, just 5 miles north of exit 158. So if you're headed south, beware, beware.
It looks like an 18-wheeler going the wrong way on the interstate there.
Yeah, it could be picking up a truck or something. There are 3 state troopers. There's two. Yeah, you're right. Look at that. There's 2 tow trucks. Wow, he did a maneuver there. So that other vehicle, look at this. Look. Oh yeah, wow.
He came across that median.
Wow, look at all this. He hit this car. Look at this other car. Can you tune in on it? When I get by it here. Oh man, yeah. I thought that didn't look right. That's on it. What kind of vehicle?
That's a truck of some sort.
Man. Jesus Christ. It's one of those vans, yeah. Ooh.
So listen, again, my heart goes out to Angie Stone, her family, excuse me. And, you know, I will say this. There's a lot of things where I think, you know, in regards to the industry, with certain happenings, we all know that we feel like the industry is very demonic, you know, evil. But in regards to a person being involved in a motor vehicle accident, unfortunately, it happens every day. We're starting to see now that, you know, even with the planes, that there's starting to be more plane accidents and things like that. Sometimes you just can't avoid it. Like, you know, I think we need to value life. We need to realize that things constantly do happen, and not everything is a part of some sort of conspiracy theory. You can choose to think like that. Maybe it's easy for you to think like that, or it's fun for you. You know, I could easily just make content, and if I see how simple-minded that people are, and I could just make everything a conspiracy, there's a market for that. So if you want to make YouTube videos and you feel like you want to get people and get the clicks, do conspiracy content. To me, it's disrespectful to the family, and especially depending on the nature of the situation. The woman's daughter got online and said, "My mama is gone," right? And I want to tell you, I hear so many stupid, yes, you, if you're a person, maybe have you ever known any family that's been in a motor vehicle accident at all? Have you been in a motor vehicle accident, right? I know people who was in an accident. Listen, can I tell you something that really breaks my heart? This woman who I know, who was mauled by a pit bull, nearly lost her life, mauled by a pit bull. She got into an accident leaving a correctional facility upstate New York with her newborn baby in the car. The car flipped over multiple times. Her baby died. She didn't. How are you going to tell me that you can be on board of a sprinter and that, you know, one person can't? You never know. Angie was fragile. She was sick. I'll be sure to mention that she needed some sort of transplant. We don't know what it was, but it seems as though Angie was dealing with a lot. So it is possible, even if she wasn't dealing with a lot, the positioning on the sprinter, if she had her seatbelt on, we just don't know. What if she was next to the window, it flipped, and maybe she kept, you know, she sustained, you know, succumbed to some injuries. You just don't really know. The next thing I want to bring up is a video, a live of Angie Stone, where she's on, I believe, yeah, this is Instagram Live. This was the last live that she did prior to her passing. Well, it wasn't the last live she did prior to her passing, but this was one of the lives she went on, and she was just speaking about being ill, and then also talking about Universal Music Group owing her money. So let's just get into that really quick. Let's check that out.
They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen. I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. When they brought me to is when they told me I was lucky to be alive. When I came back to, the nurses began to tell me that I was screaming for Jesus. What happened 2 days before my show? But God, I'm trying to keep from crying because the devil was very, very, very particular in targeting me. I was rushed to the hospital because I wasn't breathing so well. Came to find out I had what was a bacterial blood infection that I had gotten when they stuck me with the needle it had went into my bloodstream and caused a staph infection of the blood. Now, I didn't have a clue that there was a blood infection until they rushed me into ICU. I went into ICU and I went to use the restroom and I passed out in the restroom. My oxygen went all the way down and rendered me basically unconscious. When I came back to, the nurses began to tell me that I was screaming for Jesus, because when I went down, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, I didn't know what was happening. All I know is it was all of a sudden. And I began to praise God and call on his name, because I knew biblically that if I was transitioning, I needed to be calling on Jesus. And I need to be calling him by his name. So I began to scream his name. When they brought me to is when they told me I was lucky to be alive, because I was on the floor. And sorry. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me. He cleared up. After 2 weeks, solid, they cleared up the blood infection, because I had to get postured with God one-on-one. Sometimes God will make you stand still when you're doing the most you can for everyone. He will stand you still so that your complete focus can be on him.
And I've heard that before with people saying that, and I heard that specific statement before. And I also heard the statement where people who can be, doing grimy things against others, where they'll get their karma. And if God don't get you in public, he will get you in private. So believe in that word right there. So it sounds like Angie, she's working a lot, and that, she felt as though that she was doing so much that she wasn't sitting still. I heard that before from another artist before too. Maybe it was Foxy Brown, when she was just like, God needed to sit her still, like when she was going through her hearing loss at a point. So that was interesting to hear Angie say that. So listen, let's move on.
God he knew that I was about to come into some things. And as I began to come back to myself completely, I remembered everything that I was working on. I remember the people that were in my immediate circle that were supposed to be there to help me. By the time it was all said and done, the Christmas song had been snatched down for what reason. I wasn't in a position to really fight that. I had to fight to live. So I couldn't worry about that, because I knew that it would take care of itself. But not without the devil trying to blame me for the mishap. Lo and behold, I won't call any names, but people quit on me because they thought it was me. Like I said, I can't call any names because I'm not that vicious. I don't want to hurt anybody, and I really don't want it to be their downfall. But I will tell you, people left me in that dark, dark moment when I really needed support. My kids were there for me. My true friends were there for me, because they knew this is serious. They thought that blood infection would have damaged my heart, so I went into a lot of testing to make sure there was not heart scarring. Lo and behold, all of that came out fine. I was not scarred by the heart, thank God. But the staph infection was supposed to scar the heart and the lungs, and It cleared up. Thank God. So I just wanted to be transparent with you all because I don't always have it all the way together. But I'm a hard worker. You know, I play hardball, but I love twice as hard. And because I do love my fans, and especially shout out to Raheem Devon, who got on the stage in Detroit that night in my place, and he had the entire audience say, "Get well soon." He called me, "Sis, what's going on?" And when he found out, he said, "I got you." So I owe you one, bruh. I owe you one. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, as I was coming through all of this, I soon found out that one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music, it's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research. Stone, the celebrity, that I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do.
And you know, that's interesting because Angie Stone, you know, that song, Black Brother, I Love Ya. You know, she came out and she's really like, it's interesting because she didn't allow, you know, those happenings not to turn her bitter, you know, for men. So that's interesting that her kids' fathers was deadbeats and she had to work hard, do these shows and all of that. What I want to say and add to what she said prior, now, Angie Stone, if you've known, she was still out here performing and everything up until before she died. And to me, this is what goes to show you what artists from back in the day, from the 90s and prior and up to the 2000s, even now, these people are getting in deals and they don't even understand it completely. Now, I will say this, it's pretty sad that Angie at this point in her life where she just realized what was going on with her money. But see, I believe what happens is a lot of these people, they be doing these shows. And I think that they love doing shows, but it reaches a point where they're just like, they probably sit down and like, okay, where's the other money at that I'm supposed to be getting? She's probably getting all this show money. You know, it's simple when you're getting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 and plus for a show. And then, you know, she said she should have been able to retire years ago. So we all know that artists, they never really fully retire because they always perform. But, you know, due to different, maybe it's her health or different things that she's going through, maybe she would have liked to step away and she didn't want to. Because, you know, sometimes it's life or not life or death, but it's just like your bills need to be paid, so you gotta book these shows out. And on one of her other lives that she was in, she was saying how she had tours booked up for 2026. So it's just really interesting and it's really, really sad. So let's just finish up the live now.
So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part.
See? They knew that she didn't know that part. You know, rest in peace to her. I don't want to come off chastising or anything, but it reaches a point where you have to know what's going on. It's just like me with having a business. I'm happy that I started my business from the ground up, like the business that I have. If you know, you know. But I know every moving part of the business, so it's just like you can't really fool me with it. But these artists, they get in these deals and they figure that they're known, and then they get that sort of public acclaim where people love them and they have stories related, connected to their songs, and sometimes they even find a lot of these artists healing, right? But it's deeper than that. It's about being obsessed with the music business too. So I don't know what Angie went through, you know, I don't know her educational level, because a lot of the times people who are really good at what they do, sometimes they're either good in the books and they're good at the arts, or sometimes they're just good with the arts and these labels take advantage of them. You know, it's modern day pimping. So it sounds like Universal has been getting over on her for years. Angie Stone was popping when I was in high school. I graduated in 2001, you know. I don't remember her having such a huge impact that far after that. So it's like we're talking about an artist, in my opinion, who's already peaked. And she's just now starting to realize what is going on the monetary end of her royalties, mechanics, XYZ, right? It's unfortunate. May her soul rest in peace. May her family find healing. I want to say this again, right? Unless you're a person who understands how car accidents happen and how there can be no survivors, or maybe someone won't survive, right? Everything is not a conspiracy theory. It's not. And we've got to the point on the internet where people don't even have simple empathy or sympathy for a family. They immediately get online and run with headlines. And it's just so they can get the clicks and views. There has to be another way for you to get clicks and views other than trying to make it seem like something happened that just didn't, you know? And I'm not even being blind to the fact that we know that this industry is evil. Did you ever and then somebody told me that it came out today that it was released that the Sprint, I can't confirm this, that the person who was driving the Sprinter did cut in front of the truck. Things like this happen all the time. I was telling people on my live earlier when I was saying that this woman who I used to work with, a man who she dated for almost 20 years, they never wed or anything, right? He drove trucks, but he drove petroleum. In Houston, on the Sam Houston Tollway, you probably can Google this story. On the Sam Houston Tollway, the man is traveling with petroleum. The man cut in front of him and the truck pretty much just blew up and he died instantly. Yeah. People cut in front of trucks all the time. It can either be catastrophic for the driver of the sedan, van, or vehicle, whatever type of vehicle, or it can be catastrophic for the truck driver as well. So listen, potent, pondering, never pandering. Please get in the comments. Send your prayers up. Put the prayer emojis in the comments for Angie Stone. My favorite song by her is I Can't Eat, I Can't Sleep Anymore. Looking for love to walk through the door. And I wish I didn't miss you anymore. That was my song. I love that. Potent, pondering. I'm up out of here. Peace.